and your kids, like seeing them give it back to you, because you know they're just little mirrors of you. So it's like you push whatever it is that you believe in or your ideals or whatever, you kind of like try to pepper it in as much as you can in your parenting without, you know, being overbearing as much as possible. And then they'll kind of give it back to you and you're like, oh, they got that.
They absorbed that. I see you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, your kids are literally some of the best behaved kids that I've ever seen. And they're also making deals when I'm over at your house. They're like, let's make a deal with each other, which I think is adorable. But you guys are really busy right now. Let's talk about the May market coming back. I was on a call with you yesterday. You have like 10 new listings. What's going on over there?
Go ahead, me.
Well, May showers bring flowers. I woke up today, and my daughter said it was sprinkling out, and that's what I said to her. But anyways, you know, the market's still going to go. People are still going to want to sell their houses, and you know, as long as there's trading and you're a realtor and you can get in the middle of it, there's always business, and people need to sell whether in a good or bad market. And unfortunately, they call it the 3 Ds in real estate: death.
4 Ds.
Oh, really? Death, debt, divorce, and what else?
Disaster.
Wow.
Those are my, stole them from me.
Well, we've also decided to throw in a 5th D, which is disease.
Right.
Yes, Brady came up with that. But then you look at the New York market, Branden, and Douglas Elliman laid off 25% of their staff today. Yes, it was on Inman. They laid off 25% of their staff. So it's like, is it just LA that's popping?
Well, I think, you know, at the end of the day, where are you going to want to be? LA, California, they call it the Golden State for a reason, because of the weather and the landscape, the geography, the oceans, the mountains, the sun, the music business, the entertainment business, the content business. All the internet companies are coming here. And it's just one of those magic places. And that's why the Chumash Indians loved it so much. It was magic. And you know, that's why they call it the City of Angels. And this is to set your intentions and dreams.
Okay, so you're listing properties, but what's about selling on the back end? Are you still seeing deals come through, or is it fresh escrow?
Actually, just put in a couple big deals. I don't want to jinx them because they're relatively new, but we just put 2 deals into escrow last week, one for 20 million, one for 10 million. So things are moving. I mean, listen, I don't want to brag, but it's the reality of the situation. So things are happening. And I think people just, at the end of the day, people from New York and, like I said, Asia and London, it's like, do you want to live on top of each other in these condensed environments?
No.
Or do you want to have some space, fresh air from the ocean breeze? We're in Beverly Hills, and we're literally 8 miles away from the ocean, and we still get that fresh ocean every day.
Right.
And it's still relatively cool but warm, and we have these incredible climates. Like, I always go snowboarding 55 minutes away from my house, Mount Baldy. And if you time it right, you're in knee-deep powder, and it's absolutely spectacular. And I woke up yesterday, and I was going surfing at 4:30 a.m. I went and surfed Malibu. Technically, you're not allowed to, but there were 100 surfers out. So
you're such a California boy, though.
Yes.
Like, you surf and you sell California. Rayni, your team really, I believe, sells the California dream. When you're selling the California dream to a client, how do you do that? Do you paint the picture for them? I think that is part of your guys' really key strategy.
For me, being from the East Coast, like, I never forget the feeling that I had the first time I came to visit my roommate, who was a couple of years older. She was from Philadelphia, and she moved out here, and I came to visit her on my spring break of my senior year in college. And the smell of the jasmine and walking down the streets and just seeing, like, people were smiling and happy. And East Coast people would be like, oh, LA is so fake. Everyone's so fake. But they're not. It's an easier way of life. We're not fighting for cabs. We're not fighting the weather. It's not so dense that you're fighting to walk down the street. You know, and people were in flip-flops when I started working with Branden, I had the East Coast mentality. He sort of has it too, where he's like, he's a workhorse, but he was like, there's a swell and I'm going to go surfing. And I was like, a what? And he was like, a swell. And it doesn't happen often, but when there's a swell, I don't work, I surf. And I was like, it's Wednesday.
No.
It's Wednesday.
That had to be a very, very big swell, and it usually happens on Wednesday. That's why they always call the big swells Big Wednesday. Don't ask why. It's God's favorite day to build a swell. So if it's massive, I will take the afternoon off. Like yesterday, there was a good swell in the water, not massive. So I went out and I was back at work at 9 a.m.
But it's just about like a different mentality than New York, where it's like, you know, it was kind of like working smarter, and you could still, like, people wear flip-flops and they're still working. But I was like, being from the East Coast, I'm like, why aren't these people dressed? You know, but they were still, everybody had their hustle and was doing something. But
I love that you said smell the jasmine, because like I think you guys really sell on the senses. Like you're like, you can smell this, you can live here, you can touch that. I think that's really key. Smelling the jasmine is true.
Come out here and they want to hate it. And all of our New York clients that come out here and they're like, oh, we're just New York, we would never. They're the ones that fall in love the hardest. Like the Bruce Mikulskis that, you know, he built an empire, $1 billion business in New York City, and he's from Rhode Island and he's lived there his entire life. And now he's like, he says New York's a sewer. Like, but this is the guy that we couldn't convince that he was going to love it here. He thought he was going to spend a summer here. Now he owns multiple homes, and I don't even think he's gone back in years.
And listen, to the New Yorkers, there's no place like New York City. Every time I go to New York City, I want to own a place there, and I absolutely love it. But to live, family, health, and to a place to work, I mean, like California. So not knocking anywhere. I love the East Coast.
Love New York.
I love the East Coast.
You are seeing people flock to LA right now. I think after this is all over, we're going to see a huge renaissance in real estate here in Los Angeles, and it will really, we'll see a different type of home being built. We'll see a different kind of person moving here, and you guys are poised for that renaissance. Are you listing any differently? Are you doing? Has this changed the way you list things?
I would say no initially. I mean, obviously, we have to. I think in these times you have to be more respectful. I think you don't want to put wealth and money in people's faces. Be like, aha, well, you know. So there's a tasteful way of doing it. I think we're pulling back, and I think overall in the market the last couple of years, people are kind of pulling back, and it's not as, when all of these homes came out, it was flash and over the top, and we talked about this before. Rayni likes to call it flash and trash. And
don't coin that.
We know the backstory to that flash and trash. Don't quote that story.
But I just think it's now more about kind of, low key and keeping it more on just being a little more reserved. And I think that's kind of our new marketing strategy is kind of.
I love that. Yeah. It's a more subtle luxury.
Yeah.
Understated luxury. I love that. Okay. Well, let's just quickly hop on and hop off what you guys did with that rebranding. I know we've talked about it with you, Branden. It was in the Wall Street Journal on the cover on Friday, and you took this house that you've represented it for 2 years, and you rebranded it. So I just want to quickly go through what you did. This is the before of the living room, and you convinced the new ownership and the new LLC to put in lighter floors. You also did something with the yoga room downstairs. This is the before. This is the after. Walk us through your approach to this and why it was important.
Show the pantry.
You have the
it's
pantry.
Rayni's favorite.
Here's the before, a crystal champagne pantry that, like you said, screams over the top, to a farmer's market pantry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
There we go.
I want to say something about that. I think there's a couple of things as a listing agent that you look at, right? You could always look back at the history for any market to trust. So we always look back, who's buying these houses? And I think initially, maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, you know, the tech boom, it was all single guys, it was bachelors, it was slick, it was, you know, it was that house. And that's who was buying most of the homes. And as of late, it has turned over to families. And even a lot of these tech guys now have families and they have wives or they want to start a family. And things have gotten a little more worldly in the sense that people are more traveled and they're looking for eclectic artifacts and things from around the world that kind of make it more special instead of just kind of like glossy and flossy, you know? It's like a little bit different.
Glossy and flossy. But yeah, but you guys took this and you said it's a refrigerated room. It's temperature controlled. Let's make it into a walk-in pantry because a family's going to live here. And you were selling.
Yeah.
Branden, how many properties did you sell to families this year in this area?
Well, I think we've tracked it. In the last 8 big modern home sales, were all families. And I think what Rayni's point she's trying to make is, listen, every wise man, successful man, realizes that there's a smarter, wise, successful woman behind him. Kinder than, you know, family, kids, and you know, having, or partners, whether straight or gay, whatever it is. But I just think it makes, you know, makes life easier. So I'm finding that people want to enjoy these. These aren't just party pads, and people want to live in these beautiful modern homes with views of the city. And we just tailor make them now more for families.
I mean,
and we heard that from a European family that we sold a home of theirs in like 08, 09. They were from the Netherlands, this beautiful family, and they loved modern homes. And they bought a very modern home from us that we were like, are you sure? You know, you have 4 kids. And you realize European families love that sensibility. And they believe that, you know, the modern home offers a lot of open mind thinking for children. And it doesn't just have to be for a couple or a single person. We live down, you know, we live really close to this listing that you're showing that we rebranded, and we're a family.
yes.
So we think that we can't just be catering to the single bachelor. We need to cater to the masses. Let the buyer dictate.
And you guys really dictate your entire strategy on the market. I think you did an amazing job, and you know, you'll find a buyer very soon. Let's hop over now, switch gears completely, and play a game that we made just for you guys. It's called the Not So Newlywed Game. How long have you guys been married?
6.5 years.
Branden's like 6.5 years. So I'm going to ask you guys, there's 14 questions. How many out of the 14 questions do you think you will get correct?
And partners for close to 15
years.
Yeah,
partners for 15, a couple for 10, and married for 6.
So I'm going to ask you the questions, and I want you to point to each other of who is the correct answer. So for example, I would say like, who's, you know, more likely to garden, and you would point to the person who's more likely to do the gardening. Okay.
Okay.
This will be fun.
But we need you guys to close your eyes and point.
Oh, close our eyes. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So, first question: who's the better driver? Point. Who said I love you first?
Who said I love you?
Who said I love you first? Who's more stubborn? Who's messier? I've experienced that one. Who spends more money? Who's the better dresser? Who's the better cook? Who says sorry first? Who's funnier?
Seriously? Branden.
Seriously? Who's the biggest baby when they're sick? Who's the social butterfly? Who is more romantic?
All right.
Who's more patient?
Come on, Alex. You know these answers.
Yeah, right.
And who cries at movies? That's it. You guys did pretty good. I mean, I think you got like only 2 or 3 wrong.
Yeah, because he did all to himself.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
right.
did. But he did say you
the whole
spent
time. I could feel him.
Yeah.
Seriously.
The
Okay.
truth hurts.
He did say you spend more money. So
I know I pointed at her, then I pointed at me.
well, I saw you guys only got 3 wrong. You did pretty well.
He said he's the best cook.
No, he said you were the best cook. Things that you agreed on was the better driver.
1,000 meals I've cooked for him.
I've been at your house. You're the
Homemade,
better cook.
bolognese, homemade everything, you name it. And you know what he told somebody his favorite meal during quarantine was? Ordering Hi-Ho burger. Guess what?
Hi-Ho burger? Really?
It's the best of all time. If anybody hasn't been a Hi-Ho burger in LA, there's 2 of them. It's the best burger. It's like In and Out on steroids.
You'd rather have that than
fresh. I will take Rayni's bolognese over Hi-Ho burger any day. You did get better driver right. Who said I love you first? Branden, you said I love you first? That's adorable. I'm
romantic in this relationship, to be honest with you.
You did get more romantic.
Causing her back last night. I'm always like the one that wants to hug. She's more of like the man.
And who's funnier? You got that one right.
Who was funny?
Who is
he told me
the one I agree with is who is messier? Branden is definitely messier. Remember when we were doing that AD shoot and he was getting dressed and he would just take off his clothes and throw them everywhere? That was the best.
Remember this morning when he spilled a green smoothie all over our Oriental rug? Remember 5 minutes ago when he walked in with junk coming out of his pockets? Yeah.
He's just like, wow. I'm going to have to watch that back because there's something, an image at the bottom. So that was super fun. Thank you guys for playing. You should have, in your mailbox, we dropped off your prize today. It's Everyday Essence Organic Skincare. I gave you the toner and I gave you the oil for your face. Branden, that is Shilajit. It's like a tar that you take every morning. It's an antioxidant for you.
I need it. Thank you.
You need something for amnesia. Do you have anything for the brain?
No, I don't. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show and playing that game with us. I know it's hard for couples, but you got a lot right.
Yeah, we did.
I did.
You go kill it.
I think we found, too, that I'm the romantic, the more open-minded one. And that's Shilajit. So it's like a tar that you take and you make a little pea size every day, and it's 85. Yeah, I've had it. Yeah.
You've taken the tar?
Yes, of course. I had that. My buddy, it's like minerals from like thousands of years. My buddy and my client, Elijah Blue, Cher's son, is the one that put me onto that stuff like 10 years ago.
It's amazing for cognitive function. Well, he needs this. You should just eat this whole thing.
No, it gives you so much energy that you really only need to take a small amount because it'll wire you. But it has 85 ionic vitamins and minerals. I make everyone take it. And at first they're like, what's this tar crap? And then I love that you already know of it, Branden.
I was eating this for a while, but I found suppository, do like a little suppository ball. It lasts longer.
I'll try that. I love you guys. Go kill it today. I will talk to you with some good news after the show. We've got some fun things to share with you. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, Alex. Have a great day.
Bye.